Yeah, beat your addiction, live free. Ralf Friedrichs is who you see. Listen in when you're feeling low. Take back your life, today's show. Beat your addiction, live free. Ralf Friedrichs is who you see. Listen in when you're feeling low. Take back your life, today's show. Stay positive, hope, and keep faith. Stand strong against any odds that you face. Put away the alcohol and the drugs. Fill your time with the things you love. Addiction is tough, but it's worth the work. Treat your body what it's worth. Spread positivity, inspire all. If we stand together, we will never fall. I help others see the other sides of life. A sober life, letting go of the strife. So give me a call, I can help. 1-844-4405-HELP. Homeless shelters, hospitals, jails, wherever you are. I am Ralf Friedrichs and I am here for you. 1-844-405-HELP.
Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Just imagine being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to get out of that coffin. You tried lifting the lid, but the enormous weight upon the lid from the dirt prevents you from doing that. You try banging on the lid to unsettle the dirt. Maybe somebody might notice and start digging their way down towards you. You want to get out. You don't know how to get out. You just think you're going to die. In reality, there are people standing by your grave. You just don't know that. You just say, oh, please don't let me die. Usually, though, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death when you're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great, listen to this, great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind while you were abusing drugs and alcohol that you might just overdose and take something away that God had given you called life? With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be like the person I just spoke about. Call me at 844-405-HELP, and I promise I'll help you take your life back, for your life is gone. Folks, I'm going to talk about autism. Today I'm going to have a special guest call in about an hour from now. His name is Trevor Marsh, and he will be calling in. But in the meantime, let me touch a subject that's really dear to me and probably to millions of other people out there. Autism and the signs. Autism is a developmental disorder affecting the areas of the brain that affect communication and social skills, folks. Usually appearing in the first 3 years of life, most parents may notice something by the time their child is about 18 months old and seek help by the time their child turns 2. Other children may progress normally through age 2 and then suddenly begin losing language and social skills that had previously developed in their bodies. Here are some signs which you, my friends, need to be aware of. First sign is struggles. A child with autism may struggle in particular areas that seem to come easier naturally to other children. The most affected areas are the communication skills and the social skills. When alone, an autistic child may struggle with pretend play differently than any other child. Number 2 is hypersensitivity. Because sensory input is proceed differently in autistic children, you may notice hypersensitivity in your child to light, sounds, textures, tastes, even smells. Your child might not like certain textures in blankets or in clothing as well, or not only certain vegetables, and maybe only like carrots if they're soft instead of eating them when they're hard, or prefer wearing sunglasses when outside. One mom had behavioral problems with her toddler son until removing all the tags from his shirt. Hypersensitivity, hyposensitivity, sometimes the opposite of hypersensitivity happens, and the autistic child has such low threshold of sensory input that they sometimes put themselves in danger. One kiddo would not wear coats because he didn't realize how cold it was outside, so his parents had to limit outdoor playtime to this particular little tyke. Another family had to rule of parents starting the shower and bath water because their daughter would often burn herself, not even realizing the temperatures of the water and then being turned on too hot. Another struggle is, and another sign I should say, is repetition. This may be internal, such as repeated hand movements, facial expressions, or body movements. Or it may be external, such as needing a very strict routine, folks. One father found his son was almost distressed if breakfast didn't happen before dressing. Another mom found out that her daughter screamed if she hugged her before brushing her teeth instead of after brushing her teeth. Number 5 is object attachment. Many kids have favorite baby dolls or toy cars, but autistic children may require those things when they function and interact with them instead of people. Folks, rather than pretend play of driving or caring for the doll, the autistic child may learn facts about cars or simply want a certain texture associated with the doll's clothing. Number 6 is communication is a sign. Kids with autism may not initiate conversations or maintain eye contact while interacting. In fact, some children forcing eye contact actually makes it harder for them to understand or process what you are saying. They may also use gestures instead of speaking, misuse pronouns, and often will allow your gaze if you look at a point or point something out. Number 7 is interaction. Autistic children will not interact with others in the same way that their peers might, and even appear withdrawn or physically isolated themselves from other kids around them, or from the stimulation caused by other kids around them. They may interact with people the same way people that they might interact with objects and not understand concepts such as empathy. They usually prefer to be alone rather than participate in a group activity. Number 8 is fascinations. Autistic kids may have unusual hobbies or even interests and know all the facts or every single detail about the special interest. One 8-year-old was diagnosed with nonverbal because he would not speak and yet could read and write Klingon. A little 4-year-old knew every detail, every kind of train and entire history of many Pacific trains. Number 9 is perseveration. Children with autism may often get stuck on a single topic or a task. They repeat a single word or a phrase over and over and over, or may even ask the same question repeatedly. They may share the same fascination facts that with you again and again and again. They may struggle with transitions between tasks or highly distressed with changes in routines should you change the routine. And then number 10 is developmental delays. There are several rules of thumb for development milestones. Babies should be babbling and gestures by 12 months old and be able to say single words by 16 months old. By 24 months old, a toddler should be able to initiate 2 phrases without prompting. It's always a red flag when a child suddenly loses skills, whether language, communication, social, or motor skills. The more we learn about autism, folks, the more we are able to treat it. One of the key aspects of treatment is early detection with intensive intervention. Treatment usually includes developing a structured schedule of specific activities at school and at home, often using visual needs to be specific to individual children, addressing their unique symptoms and building on their special strengths. And now, right now, I'd like to have Trevor Marsh join us in this segment. I will be dialing the phone right after this, and we'll get him on the phone, and him and I will talk about autism. Thank you very much. I'll be right back with Trevor Marsh from Philadelphia, direct into your living room. Okay, we're back from part 1. Now this is part 2 of autism, and as promised, I have special phone guest, second time around, Trevor Marsh from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And Trevor, you are now officially on the air, and I'd like to give you the stage to talk. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, audience. My name is Trevor Marsh. I am recently just turned 33 years old on the 15th of October. I live in a supportive apartment program with staff on duty from like 9 in the morning per se to like 8. There's emergency staff if I need it. That's the program director. I also work at the apartment complex where I live at. I clean hallways and do windows, and I have a backpack that's vacuum that looks like maybe look like a Ghostbuster. So I'm busting the dust instead of the ghost.
That's pretty fun. And you know, it's funny. It's to me, it sounds like where you live. Is that like a group home?
No, it's a regular apartment complex.
Okay, but when you say you have staff, and the reason I bring that up is because my wife, she is a what they call an assistant manager at here at the house that we actually have the studio, where they have staff on around the clock, and they're for low functioning, physically and mentally challenged individuals. But that's.
Right.
But I also know that there are other parts of this company. The company's called IJHL. There are other parts where they actually have staff from 9 to 6. The people that actually live there go to work. They do their own thing, but there's always staff in case anything. Is that kind of similar to what you have?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. So that's great.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about autism, but I want to give you the opportunity. I know you did a special thing on Saturday, and I'd like for you to tell the audience what you did, how long it took, and, well, go ahead. You know what to say.
Okay. So on this past Saturday, I did the Autism Speaks Walk here in Philadelphia. It was down at Sissus Bank Park, which, I don't know, for you baseball fans, that's where the Philadelphia Phillies play.
Ah.
And it was about a mile and a half. It was a kind of dreary day, but the rain held off until after the walk, so it was really good. And me and my good friend Pam Feeblewitz, who runs my social group with Kaleidoscope, me and her, we carpooled down to the stadium. We met a lot of other people. We even hosted a group from Central Pennsylvania, which is part of the Kaleidoscope group. That Kaleidoscope, they do my job coaching. So we actually hosted them. We did the walk with them, and then we went out for lunch with them at a pretty famous Philadelphia restaurant called Chicky and Pete's, which is actually famous for their crab fries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I did see the video of you walking. It was quite interesting. It seemed like it was cold out. Was it cold?
It was cold, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. But, yeah, so for the audience, you can definitely go on Facebook. I think the video is on Facebook. I'm not sure where you have it, Trevor. Probably under your...
If not, I can put it on my timeline the next time they get on Facebook, which will probably be tomorrow.
Okay, so you can just go and look on Trevor Marsh. I'll spell the last name, M-A-R-S-H, first name Trevor, and you'll be able to see the video. But tell me something. Why do you have the interest in autism? Just give a background on why you're interested. Is it a personal experience, or do you have family members with autism? Or
well, I actually have Asperger's, which is high functioning autism.
Okay. And I think from the last show we did talk about that, and you know.
I know that CJ talked about it on his show also.
Yeah, we're probably going to again. From what I understand, I mean, the 19th of November we do have another show which I'll be going into New York City for. We're trying to arrange to have you call in because that's probably the most feasible way for you to. Because it's quite a distance. But for this segment, and I've already talked about this, but I want to talk with you about it, and we're going to talk about signs of autism, and I'm going to give you like 10 signs, and if you could just briefly touch up on each sign, and you know, just tell the audience if you experience any of it or you know anyone that does. But the sign number 1 for autism is struggles. And I'm just going to read one sentence and let you take over. A child with autism may struggle in particular areas that seem to come easy or naturally for other children. Now, tell me, is that a true fact that children might struggle with particular?
I definitely experienced it when I was younger. I was in special education classes.
And when did your parents find out that you had signs of autism? Because usually it's between birth and 18 months to 24 months.
Well, I was originally diagnosed with dyslexia. So the autism diagnosis did not come, it came later for me. Because I'm not sure when Asperger's actually became like had its place on the autism spectrum.
Right.
But I was diagnosed with Asperger's. I think I was like 14, 16, something around there.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, let me just say this. I mean,
Okay.
From looking at your video, from speaking to you, speaking right now, you're a very well-spoken person, and it goes to show you can hit anyone, anytime, any place. And, you know, we need to bring awareness to this. But number 2 is hypersensitivity. I'll read one sentence and I'll let you touch base. Because sensory input is processed differently in autistic children, you may notice hypersensitivity in your child to light, sounds, textures, tastes, or smells. What do you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely had that when I was younger. When I was younger, loud noises, they made me hurt my ears, so I would actually put my hands over my ears, try to block out the sounds that way. Or my parents, they also got me noise-canceling headphones that they would use at like a shooting range.
Oh, wow.
To block out the sounds.
Unbelievable. And that was hypersensitivity. Now listen to this word. This is hyposensitivity. Not hyper, but hypo.
Oh.
Sometimes the opposite of hypersensitivity happens, and the autistic child has such a low threshold of sensory input that they sometimes put themselves in danger. What do you think?
Oh, I definitely do not have that.
Okay, so we'll skip that one. Number 4 is repetition. This may be internal, such as repeated hand movements, facial expressions, or body movements, or it may be external, such as needing a very strict routine. You have to stick to that routine, and you'd like to do things in repetition. What do you think?
Oh, I'm definitely I used to be more so the second one that has a stricter routine. My parents like set strict schedules, and then I got so regimented in that I had to keep it up because I would be lost without it.
Oh, wow.
I'm not so much that way anymore.
That's excellent. You know, we all watched Charlie Brown growing up, and you remember Linus with his blanket, right? That blanket stuck to... Okay, well, number 5, drum roll, please, is object attachment. Many kids have favorite baby dolls or toy cars, but autistic children may require those things with them to function and interact with them instead of people. In other words, you get attached to a certain item where sometimes that item is more of a relief to you than a person can be. How do you react to that?
I never had that.
Okay, so we'll go. So far, 2 of them you haven't experienced. So next one is, and I don't think this one really reflects to you because you're very well spoken, but communication. Kids with autism may not initiate conversations or maintain eye contact while interacting. In fact, for some kids, forcing eye contact actually makes it harder for them to understand or process what you are saying. What do you think?
Oh, I definitely had that when I was a lot younger. It was really hard for me to start conversations.
Well, you've certainly improved because you're very well spoken now.
And there's actually a book about that. It's called Look Me in the Eye by John Elder Robeson, who was his brother is Augustine Burroughs, the Running with Sisters guy. And it actually talks about that. And actually, he's a fellow Aspie, or that's what a lot of people call people with Asperger's.
Okay.
And he actually talks about that.
So, tell the audience the name of the book again, please.
It's called Look Me in the Eye.
Look Me in the Eye, and the author?
John Elder Robeson.
John Elder Robeson? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So, listen, anybody out in the audience, if you forget the name or anything, just write to me and I'll get it back from Trevor, and maybe he'll even write to you about it. But next one, number 7, interaction. Autistic kids will not interact with others in the same way as they would with their peers, and may even appear withdrawn or physically isolate themselves from other kids around them, or from the stimulation caused by other kids around them. What do you think about that?
I didn't have that, no.
Okay. This one is a good one because I don't even know if autism really... I mean, I think we all have fascinations. Autistic kids may have unusual hobbies or interests and know all the facts or every detail about the specialized interest. That I do believe, and I'm sure you were like that, right?
I was like that, yes.
Because, I mean, just the fact that you just came out with that book and the author out of nowhere, that's amazing.
I love to read.
Well, that's good. It's good for the mind. Okay, so number 9 out of the 10 is perseveration. Children with autism may often get stuck in a single topic or a single task. They repeat a single word or phrase over and over and over again, or they may ask the same question repeatedly. What do you think?
No. Not for me.
Okay. Last but not least is developmental delays. There are several rules of thumb for developmental milestones. Babies should be babbling and gesticulating by 12 months and be able to say single words by 16 months. Children with autism, even by 24 months to 36 months, still have issues pronouncing 1 to 2 words in repetition. How's that?
My parents said that I had that, but I don't really know much more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this is the last paragraph, and then I just want you to touch base with the audience with what you, the Asperger's again. So, the more we learn about autism, the more we're able to treat it. One of the key aspects of treatment is early detection with intensive intervention. Treatment usually includes developmental, structured schedule of activities at school and at home, often using visual cues to prompt a child to transition to the next activity. Treatment needs to be specific to individual child, addressing their unique symptoms and building on their special strengths. Now, Trevor, why don't you tell the audience the definition of what you actually have and compare that to autism, how they relate, okay?
Okay, sure. What I have is Asperger's syndrome. It's actually on the autism spectrum. It's at the far end. It's also known as HFA, which is high-functioning autism. Asperger's is more so a social communication disorder. Sometimes it's really hard for me to socialize. I actually do my best socialization on the computer because it's also really hard for me to read emotions.
Okay. But, I mean, like right now, you talking to me, and this is our second time or third time that we've talked, second time for an interview. You're, you know, I don't want to hop on this, but you're very relaxed. I know you were nervous the first time we had an interview on the show, and but you didn't show that. So either you're very good at hiding shyness, or you become very much relaxed. Which one is it?
I think it's definitely the second one, because when I was growing up, my parents, one of the things that they actually did really well, they made sure that I was in different environments around different people, so I was not so shy as I was, as I might have been if they hadn't had be interacting more so with other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as you, I'm not even sure if you know this, but today I did a show earlier this morning with Gloria, and we spoke about hunger in the world, we spoke about HIV, and we spoke about poverty. And for the audience now, we spoke about autism, and I'd like to do another segment with you down the road if you're interested, and talk about... And only because it kind of hits home for me, being that my wife works in a group home. Actually, this studio isn't a group home. We have 6 adult males living downstairs. And if you ever want to do a show and talk about your experiences, how you appreciate that, and I'll relate to it with my experiences here. I have 2 handicapped sisters. One has spinal bifida. Do you know what that is?
I've heard of that, yes.
Yeah, she's paralyzed from the hips down. And then I have another sister, Mary Ann. She's also in a group home, and she's mentally challenged. But the reason I bring this up now, because I do believe that my sister Mary Ann has some sort of autism. I'm not sure if you know, my mother was killed this year, May 31st.
I actually did know that. I saw the pictures on Facebook. I'm really sorry to hear about that.
Well, thank you so much. She was run down by a truck. And the reason I bring that up now is because my sister Mary Ann needed and counted on my mother every day. So since my mother's passing, and this is no lie, Trevor, I get 10 to 15 phone calls from my sister every single day now, because I had to step in when my mother left off. And the reason I think she has some sort of autism is because she has to literally do the same thing over and over, repetition over and over.
Repetitive.
Yeah. And so maybe we'll do a show on something like that. If you can come up with an idea, definitely, inbox me and let me know if you're interested. If not, that's fine, too.
I'm definitely interested.
Because you can speak from experience, from your experience, and I have at least 20 years experience in group homes now because of my wife working for one and my sisters being in the system. And so I think it'd be a good show because there are a lot of people in our audience, Trevor, that have folks that have autism, have hunger issues, have HIV issues. So people like you and me talking about it makes other people realize, listen, it's okay to talk because it's so important that we all talk to each other, that we help each other.
You can make the world a better place if everybody talks to each other about the issues.
Right, yeah. And, certainly me meeting you, and it was by sheer chance that CJ mentioned you. I think it was like a week before the show, and he said, listen, it's great because you're a life coach, and this fan wrote into me, blah, blah, blah.
It was actually 2 days before my birthday, too.
Oh, okay, so yeah. So, I somehow, and I'm not sure if you're religious, but I am. Somehow I do believe that God brings people together. And
I am also religious. My dad is a priest.
Oh, well then, okay. So you obviously do believe exactly what I'm saying. God brings people together. And it's so important that I keep my friendship going with you, and I certainly appreciate you calling in. Well, I called you, but I think maybe in the next show we're going to have you call in so people can actually hear the ringing and the whole 9 yards, okay?
Okay, cool.
So we'll work on another show for another time. And Trevor, you want anything to say at the end of this, or?
I actually want to give out 2 shout-outs to my friends.
Go ahead.
Okay, I actually want to give out a special shout-out to Mr. Steve Yan. He lives in Missouri. He's like one of my really good friends. And the second one has to go to West Cusenberry Poteet. I talk to him a lot. He is a great person. And I really enjoy talking to him, and he's really cool.
Well, you heard those shout-outs. If anyone wants to get a hold of Trevor, you can find him on Facebook. I'm not sure. You'll probably have to friend request him. Like, it's hard to friend request me because Facebook won't allow any more friends with me. I have over 5.
That's what I have heard from some of my friends, yeah.
Yeah, I have like 5,000, so that's the limit. But certainly get in touch with Trevor. I'm sure he would love to talk to you folks. Again, let me spell his last name. M-A-R-S-H. First name's Trevor. If you have a problem finding him, you can certainly call me at 844-405-HELP. And you can also text me at 804-895-3637. Trevor, thank you so much for being on our show today. We will talk.
No problem.
Yeah, we'll talk real soon. This video will be probably showing in about 3 hours on Facebook, YouTube.
I'll be able to see it tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Trevor, and have a good night. Take care.
You too as well.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye. Okay, so that was Trevor Marsh, and we had a good segment today. I hope God blesses each and every one of you.
God was really there? Did you feel all hope was gone, but in His time He came along and answered the prayer you thought was gone? There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. I have read if you will ask, you shall receive. No matter what it is, I still believe. There is no prayer too small, and even when we fall, He gives us just exactly what we need.